Thank you so much for joining me on this full-length Pilates Reformer class on mobilizing the spine. Let's go ahead and try to find some space in between each vertebra on our spine today using all the planes of motion. We're going to place our feet in front of us, flat on the mat. I do have on, by the way, I do have on my ankle weights. The reason I have on my ankle weights is this is not a leg class, although there are some aspects of it later that could be considered more of a legs class. But the extra weight on my ankles is going to help me find additional articulation down to the mat and up in exercises like roll up, C-shaped curve rollbacks, all kinds of rolling like a ball, bent knee, open leg rocker. It gives the body additional ability to really work the additional articulation out of each exercise, because the added load allows your body more support and is less likely to pop into other areas that you don't want to use during an articulation exercise like flat back, quads, hip flexors. So I do have on ankle weights. It is going to assist me in my articulation exercises, and it is going to make exercises like sideline legs a little bit more challenging. I'm going to go ahead and begin with my feet flat on the mat in front of me. My knees are in a gentle bent position so that I am able to sit right up. We are rolling back to the mat, so don't worry about placing something underneath your sits bones if you have tight hamstrings or a tight low back. My heels are in line, my big toes are in line with my knees are in line with my hips, and my heels are in line with my sits bones. Gently place 2 fingers on the sides of your thighs, not holding on for dear life behind the knees. Tuck the tail and articulate back. It doesn't matter how pretty it is, this is just making it down to the mat. Bring your feet in. So it's just a nice comfortable bend, and you can find a nice comfortable neutral spine here. So my sacrum's flat on the mat. I have a slight lift from the back of my hip bones all the way to the 12th rib, which is sinking into the mat. I'm drawing the front of my ribs together as if I'm wearing a corset, but my shoulder blades are platformed on the mat, and the tip tops of my shoulders are grounding, and I want to imagine there's a magnet pulling them down, so I have a nice open collarbone. I'm going to place my hands flat on the mat. Imagine you're doing footwork on the reformer. Give me a slight bend in the elbows. Suction cup the hands down. Suction cup the shoulders down. Find the nice back of the head into the mat. Now, take a couple breaths here. One more, and then we'll start tucking and tilting the spine. Now, when we tuck the spine, we're not lifting, we're just imprinting the spine into the mat. So we're pulling that slight lift between the back of the hips and the 12th rib down to the mat by drawing our belly button to our spine. We're not using our legs for it, right? Give them a shake out. We're going to come back to neutral and draw that tailbone down towards the mat. Now come back to neutral and imprint the spine. Hold for a second. Find that nice neutral position again, and bring the tailbone to the back of the head almost. And back to neutral. And imprint the spine. This should feel very abdominal heavy. If you're feeling it in your legs, or if your hip flexors are working in overtime, it's because you're pressing into your feet to jam your body into this position. Back to neutral. What we really want to do is exhale and really drive the spine down by imprinting and drawing our belly button down to our spine, using our abdominal muscles for that. Now tilt. Let's do one more. And tilt. And come back to neutral. Now, bring your fingertips with your middle fingers touching in the middle to your sternum and 12th rib, right where your ribs start to curtain out almost, which is a disgusting thought, I know, but bring your fingertips up from there. Don't bring them up and then back, right? We're going to bring them straight up and flip our palms away from us. From there, with our fingertips right over our sternum, 12th rib, but a little bit wider than the knees. It's going to be easier for us to engage under the arms and squeeze under the arms, pull the shoulders away from the ears. From there, we're gonna leave the lower half of the body completely still, right? We're gonna inhale, exhale, and curl up. Go ahead and shake it out. Make sure you're not tucking here. Your sacrum should feel very heavy into the mat. And lower. Let's do 2 more like this. And lower. Make sure your knees are knocking together when you come up or come down. They should stay in that nice number 11 the whole time. Now, let's inhale, exhale, and march our right leg up to tabletop, and then lower everything down together. And left leg will come up and lower. The game here is not to let anything in your body shift as you bring your leg up. So really, just straight up, nice and controlled. Don't swing it. And it's challenging to lower your leg with the leg weights as well. But right now, the only thing mobilizing is the tip top of the head, and we're lifting our upper back, but keeping that nice wide shoulder blade scapula area. Let's add on to the choreography. Now, before we add on, please know you can continue marching or you can continue with just curl ups. Just hold it as we're doing the leg choreography, and then lower when we lower. So exhale to lift. Now right leg comes up, stay in curl up. Left leg comes up to tabletop. Right leg lowers, left leg lowers, and uncurl. Inhale, exhale. Now left leg, tabletop. Right leg, tabletop. Left leg lower, right leg lower. Rest head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, exhale, curl up. And right leg, and left leg, and right leg, and left leg, uncurl. Final one. Left leg, and right leg, and left leg, and right leg, and lower. Now, roll to your side and press yourself up to sitting tall. We're going to place the feet back in front with our heels lined up with our sits bones again, and our legs are going to be that nice number 11 with our hips tracking over our knees, tracking over our big toes. We're going to bring our fingertips to our sternum 12th rib again and press them out to a nice hug a tree position. From there, I'm going to inhale, exhale, tuck my tail, and articulate back to a C-shaped curve. The trick to articulating back to the C-shaped curve is trying to leave your head and shoulders vertical for as long as you can, and really crunching forward by bringing the ribs to the hips, and exhale back up, uncurling out of that position. So inhale, exhale, tuck, stay up vertical, 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 vertical. So as you pull down, you're pulling up at the same time. This is going to be a concept we're going to be talking about during roll up as well. But before you move, find the tuck. Another thing that I have heard said is imagine that there's a wall behind you. The wall's moving back, and you're pushing the wall back as you articulate down. So you're pressing the wall back, 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 but see how I'm still pressed against that wall from the back of my head to my shoulder blades, right? And up. Let's do one more. So I really feel that connection from the bottom of my ribs to the tip top of my hips, and I curl back up. Now I'm going to inhale, exhale, come back. From there, I'm going to open my arms, the hug a tree, and squeeze them together. Guys, again, I'm really squeezing under the arms. So I have a nice long neck here, and I'm really maintaining that rib to hip connection on the front of my body, but I'm tucking, tucking, tucking. I have a slight squeeze on my glutes. Let's do one more. And I lift. Inhale, exhale, still hug a tree arms, tuck my tail, and articulate back. Pulling down one, lifting up in that two-way stretch. Now I'm going to lift my arms up. They're going to float up to the ceiling. My biceps should not float past my ears. They do not have to float to my ears, guys. You bring your arms up as high as you can while maintaining that C-shaped curve the whole time. You shouldn't have to flat back to maintain this C-shaped curve as you lower and lift your arms. Good, here's 4. Here's 5. And here's 6. Now articulate up out of that C-shaped curve to sitting up tall. Let's do hug a moon. So we're going to inhale, exhale, tuck our tail, articulate back to that C-shaped curve. Open our arms to wide hug a tree, flip our elbows down and our palms up, and lift our arms up, biceps by ears, but no further back, doesn't have to be there. It will be as high as when you are lowering and lifting your arms in the front, most likely. Don't forget to breathe. Really hold on to that C-shaped curve. Really find the space in between each vertebra. So we're holding it, we're strengthening these muscles. Flip the arms back to hug a tree, bring them back to center, and articulate up. Let's go into 3 around the world in each direction, and then we're going to fold over the legs for a nice stretch. Inhale, exhale, tuck my tail to C-shaped curve. I'm going to rotate to the left, leaving my fingers in front of my sternum 12 rib. My arms aren't leading. From there, I'm going to lift my arms up, come through center, rotate to the right, bring my arms down in front of my sternum 12 rib, untwist, and sit up tall. The trick to this rotation is keeping those 2 middle fingers lined up with your sternum 12 rib where your ribs curtain the whole time, guys. Don't let your arms jerk you around. It'll pull that opposite hip up, and we want to keep that firmly grounded. Tuck the tail, articulate back. Rotate to the right, lift your arms up. Come through center, rotate to the left. Arms down in front of the sternum 12th rib, untwist, articulate up. To the left this time. Tuck the tail, roll back. Rotate to the left. Lift the arms through the center. Rotate to the right. Lower the arms to the center. Articulate up. Rotate to the right. Lift the arms through the center. To the left. Lower the arms to the center. Articulate up. 1 more to each side. Tuck the tail, roll back. To the left and lift. To the center. To the right and lower. To the center. Articulate up. Final one to the right. Inhale, exhale, tuck the tail, roll back. Rotate to the right. Lift the arms. Come through center. Rotate to the left. Lower the arms. Bring the arms to center. Articulate up. Extend your legs. Float the arms up. And reach over the legs long. Don't hold on to your legs and yank yourself into place. Try to float your hands down, palms up. And rest into the exercise. Try not to bounce. Allow your body to rest. From here, we're going to go into roll-up, single leg circles, and hundreds. So, from here, I'm going to pull back on my abs, coming into a seated, rounded over, C-shaped curve position, and float my arms up. If I am in the proper position for roll-up, my arms will be reaching up, maybe not by my ears, depending on my shoulder, the health of my shoulder. But from here, I'm just going to pull back. Eventually, your arms are going to come to your sternum 12th rib. But here's the deal, guys. With the weight on my leg, I can go very slowly at this roll-up. See this? Super slow. And really feel each vertebra hit. I feel a nice length in my low back at this point for my body personally. From there, I'm going to inhale. My arms are glued into my sternum 12th rib. But when I start to come up and when they dip, I know, uh-oh, I've got to keep them parallel with the floor. Now I'm pulling back with my abs and I'm reaching forward. If I can, my biceps are up by my ears. I'm going to pull back. Eventually my arms will lock back in place on my sternum 12th rib. And I'm going to lower down. We have 4 more. Make sure you're squeezing your glutes. Remember when we talked about pulling up and pulling down at the same time? By really finding that articulation, rounding forward, drawing the ribs to the hips. So as you pull back, you're pulling back, but you're resisting. Resist, resist, resist with the upper body, the shoulders, the head, squeeze under the arms to pull the shoulders away from the ears. Two more. I know a lot of people like to stay up higher in the roll-up. I think that's great. I really like to incorporate the hamstring stretch at the same time because I figure that while we're doing it, why not have a nice time? All right, we're gonna run over the legs. I'm not flat backing. I'm still that nice round lifted position. Think of elephant, round back elephant on the reformer, right? You're reaching out for the foot bar, your feet are back. Now, come back, we're gonna articulate all the way back down. Platform your hands down by your side. From there, we're going to bend our left leg into tabletop with the ankle weight. There can be a tendency to arch your low back to lift the leg up. We don't want to do that, right? We're going to lift the leg up to the ceiling. If you have an ankle weight, you don't want your circles to probably be bigger than an exercise ball. For my body, I do not. Go ahead and make sure everything's lined up. Just because it gets a little too heavy on my back. And up. Now inhale across. And exhale. Really platform those arms. Here's 3. We're going to 5. Here's 4. Inhale across and exhale up for 5. And now reverse. Inhale and exhale. Make sure your back's not floating off the mat on either side. You don't want to weeble wobble your low body when we do these exercises. With the weight, it is more challenging. Bend that knee into tabletop. Find the mat, slide that leg long. Bring the right leg to tabletop, extend it to the ceiling. Now inhale that leg across and exhale up. Here's 5. This is my stronger leg on single leg circles. It always works out that way. One or the other, right? Here's 4. Really ground through that left leg. And now we're going to reverse. We're going to inhale the leg away and exhale it up. And inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Now draw both legs to tabletop. Reach your fingertips to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale to curl up. Turn your legs out to a frog. Now, extend your legs away from you just a little bit so you have a nice wide diamond with your legs. Squeeze those heels together. Squeeze the glutes. We're going to do the hundreds here so it's not too hip flexor heavy. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pump vigorously. Inhale continuously. And exhale like you're fogging a mirror. Draw the belly button to the spine. Can you extend your legs away from you an inch? Can you lower them an inch and really squeeze those glutes? Now, for your chin, imagine that there's an apple, an orange under your chin, and when I look up, I can see the corner where the wall and the ceiling meet. Squeeze under the arms and don't lean your fingers up to the ceiling. Pump vigorously from the shoulder socket. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend your legs long, reach them up to the ceiling. We're going to do scissors. Wherever you're comfortable, pull, pull, switch. I don't care which leg you start on. I started on the right leg and I've been starting on the left leg for everything, so I'm sorry. You can hold on behind your thigh, which I actually really like. I feel like it's a really good stretch there. Now, we're going to do one more on each leg with our pointed foot, and then we're going to flex the feet. So flex. Here's 5. It's a different stretch. Really pull those toes down towards the knees. 3, 2, 1. Don't uncurl. Bend the knees into tabletop. Gently place your fingers to the sides of your thighs and let the weights pull your body up. You don't have to swing your body up. The weight will pull your body up if you stay in a nice C-shaped curve. We are going to scooch up. We are doing rolling like a ball. This is not an exercise for those of us with osteoporosis, osteopenia, low back problems. Let's go ahead and skip this one. Or you can hold the contraction right here without the rolling. It would be nice if our knees were closer than our shoulders are wide. The insides of our feet are going to be squeezed together. We don't have to squeeze our legs all the way in together. They can be in a really, really tight frog, but squeeze under the arms and round forward and look in at the space between your heel and your high knee. Now from there, we're going to inhale, squeeze your glutes, tuck our tail, roll back to the tips of our shoulder blades, exhale up. Try to stay in that C-shaped curve the whole time. If you feel your back like this on the mat, you flat tire, and you reach your feet down towards your glutes to pull yourself up. That is really not necessary with the ankle weights especially. They'll really help you out if you let them. Really try to find the articulation the whole time. And don't try to force yourself up. Squeeze under the arms. And really pull the shoulders away from the ears. Here's 7. We're going to 10. Here's 8. Embarrassing exhale. 9. One more. Now, place your feet on the mat. Scoot yourself back. Separate your feet. Hips distance or a little bit wider. Most likely no wider than the mat. We're going to go into spine stretch, a bent knee, open leg rocker with a twist if you're interested, and then we're going to do saw. I'm going to flex my toes back towards my knees, pull energy up out of the tops of my kneecaps, sit up tall on my sits bones, reach my fingertips out of my sternum 12th rib. I'm going to float my hands up on this one today so that I can really keep my shoulders away. And I'm going to articulate in the spine stretch. So I'm going to begin with the tip top of my head and begin to look down. When I can't roll down any further without pressing backwards with my body, I'm going to begin to articulate forward. I have the same rounded over position that I had in roll, pulling back on my belly button, my spine. My arms can be up by my ears again, and I'm going to inhale up and exhale on. Really drawing my ribs and my hips together. This is considered to be a recovery exercise. You're trying to exhale all the old air out of your lungs. Let's do 3 more. It takes a lot of control here, right? And with our palms flipped up, it's a lot harder to shrug our shoulders up like we like to do. Now, I'm going to bring my feet together again. I'm going to scooch my booty in towards my heels again. We're going to do bent knee, open leg rocker. So, again, osteoporosis, osteopenia, neck problems, back problems. Please just feel free to hold right here and add on. My legs are in a tabletop position. They love to dip when I have ankle weights on, so please don't judge me for it. I am holding on behind my knees. I'm rounded in, bringing my ribs and my hips together, and I'm looking between my legs at the mat. We're going to do 5 just like this, and 5 where we add on. So we're going to inhale to roll back, and exhale up, and pause. And inhale to roll back, exhale up and pause. And inhale back. Don't change the bend of your legs. Here's 3. Here's 4. Again, if you're flat tiring, it's because you're trying to swing your sacrum down to assist yourself in coming up to this seated or balanced position. So, adding on. Inhale back, pause, Extend your legs, legs no wider than your shoulders. Bend your knees, roll back. Come up and pause, and extend, and lower, and back, and lift, and extend, and lower. I love this exercise, I don't know why. And up, and extend, and lower, and back, and lift, and extend, and lower. Lower the legs, press back. Sits bones distance or hip distance are a little wider. We're going to be doing saw with a real focus on the articulation today. So oftentimes, saw is focused on the rotation. The rotation's great, but let's talk about the articulation as we rotate. So flex your toes back strongly, pull up on the muscles on the tops of the kneecaps, float your arms up to a T. Now bring them forward in your periphery. Give you a little bit of weight in your pinky blade edge, as if you're pressing down on something imaginary like a ball underneath your pinkies. Now, rotate to the left. Articulate in a spine stretch to dive down and get your toe. Now articulate back up, still in that rotation. Untwist to the center. Now rotate to the right, keeping that left hip down. Begin the articulation. Don't think of sawing off your baby toe so much as trying to find that curve in your spine. And really articulate, really bringing out the body on this articulation. And to the right, and dive. Now as I dive down, my backhand naturally flips up to keep my shoulders a little bit more square, so I'm not all skewed out funny, right? And as I come back up, it naturally flips again. Don't overthink it. But it'll just happen. So my palm's down, and as I dive, my palm flips up. And when I come back up, my palm flips down. And I come through center. One more to the right. Lower your arms. Shake out your legs. From here, we're doing single leg stretch, elbow to knee, and some bridging. I'm going to bend my knees, reach my arms long because I no longer need the assistance of my fingertips on the sides of my knees to articulate down to the mat. Draw one knee to tabletop, draw the other knee to tabletop. Fingertips to the ceiling, inhale, exhale to curl up. Now, left leg in as my right leg reaches long. Right hand on the inside of my left knee, left hand to the outside of my left ankle. And now exhale, extend my left leg long as my right knee comes to me. My left hand goes to the inside of my right knee, my right hand goes to my right ankle. We have 10 on each side. Here's 3. 4, 5. Now, inhale, exhale in the center. Inhale, exhale through center. Inhale. We're just changing the breath pattern. Good. Here's 3. And here's 4. Now, final set. Can you stay up in a C-shaped curve with your legs in tabletop? Interlace your fingers behind your skull, thumbs long down your neck. Now release the curl just a little bit to let your head be heavy. Now curl up, making your arms and your core, your core hold your head. Your hands are just supporting your head. Now rotate to the left, dropping that left elbow down, and the right under armpit is going to come up to the left knee. Legs aren't doing anything yet. Stay in that C-shaped curve, come through center. Now drop that right elbow as the left under armpit comes up to the ceiling, not rocking anything in our sacrum, keeping it perfectly weighted to the left and to the right. We're going to do 5 here, and then we're going to add the legs. So if you're adding the legs and you start to feel like your sacrum's rocking too much, go ahead and go back to this exercise. I came in past tabletop. I don't want to do that, right? And now we're going to Pull that right knee, or the left knee in as our right leg extends, and back through center. Guys, we don't want to see our head dip like this and then lift back up. We want to keep the same curl up and just add the rotation. Here's 3. And here's 4. And here's 5. From there, we're going to rest our head, neck, and shoulders. One leg lowers, the other leg lowers. We're in a nice neutral spine, but we're going to begin bridging. So our legs can be squeezed together, or they can be separated slightly, no wider than our sits bones on the back side. If you feel back there, our sits bones are pretty narrow, guys. So before we get wild, we put our legs all the way to the side of the mat. Our sits bones are not that wide. So walk your heels in towards your glutes a little bit. Inhale, exhale. Imprint that spine just like we did at the beginning of class. Now begin to peel your spine off. Squeeze your glutes to lift your hips. Go ahead and take a look at your knees. Make sure they're wide out to the side or banging into each other in the center. And then articulate back down. Now if you have your legs squeezed together, that's one thing, right? Go ahead and take a look at them now. Is that where they are? Now as you lift, are they staying there? Looking good. And articulate back down. We're going to do the third one just as a traditional articulation bridge. Go ahead and take a look at your hips to make sure they're even. And after this one, we're going to start adding on with some fun stuff, okay? Inhale, exhale, imprint and lift. Now, without shifting in your hips, march your left leg to tabletop and lower. Transfer the weight. March the right leg and lower. Now, go ahead and take a look at your hips and make sure they're not wiggling or wobbly, right? Here's 3. We're going to 5. Here's 4. You guys are doing great. Squeeze those glutes. Platform those shoulder blades. And 5. 4 glutes. And articulate down. Now, let's add on for one more bridge. If you don't want to do this, you can just do the marching or just a regular bridge. Inhale, exhale, imprint the spine. Find that articulation, up, 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 squeeze the glutes. Left leg to tabletop, lift your leg to the ceiling like a post. Now drop the hips and tap and lift. Now you're really squeezing and isolating that right glute. Make sure your hips are still even. 5. Tabletop the left leg and lower it. Tabletop the right leg, lift it up like a post. Make sure your hips are even. Uh-oh, there it is. Mine were not. Lower lift for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tabletop, lower, and articulate down. Give your knees a nice hug in. Rock gently from side to side. I'm going to rock to the left side completely. It's time for side lying legs. Today I am doing side lying legs on my forearm. If you have shoulder issues or you do not like doing side lying legs on your arm, please go ahead and make a pillow by bending that hand back and patting yourself on the back and resting your head here. Since our legs do have weights on them, if you find that it's becoming too heavy for you or uncomfortable, please feel free to remove the weights. Now, I'm going to be up on my forearm. I have my elbow underneath my shoulder. I'm pressing myself up, 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 so I have a nice lift out of my side. I don't want to be sinking into the mat. I'm going to start today's class in Pilates V. So we're going to start here today. Normally start in parallel. If it freaks me out on the other side, I apologize in advance. I'm going to rest my hand gently in front of me so that I can keep a nice balance. I'm going to lift and lower my leg. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't allow yourself to sink every time. You want to keep a nice lift, and that's the challenge. 1 more. Now, bend the knee in a turnout position, so your knee's up, pulling your toe to the inside of your knee. Extend your leg, flex your foot, and squeeze your foot down to meet or squeeze your leg down to meet the bottom leg. Point your foot, drag that toe into the knee. Extend the leg and flex and squeeze. Point and pull, extend, flex and squeeze. Pull, this is called develop A. We have one more in this direction. Now keep your foot flexed, flex to lift, point, tap the knee by bending the leg, and extend that foot away from you. And flex and lift. Whoops, I didn't do that right in time. And extend, flex and lift, and point. Tap, flex. 4, and here's 5. Now from there, I'm going to bring my legs to parallel, flex my feet, bring my leg up to hip height. So many people think hip height's here. It's not, guys. It's only an inch or 2 up, right? Now flex my foot forward and squeeze it back. Don't allow your back to arch. Just squeeze it with your glutes. Forward and squeeze. Here's 3. And squeeze. Lift up. 4. And squeeze. Lift up. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And 10. Now float that foot over the other way. Now squeeze it down and pull it apart for 10. And squeeze and pull. And squeeze and pull. Squeeze and pull. Not very much, but feel like you're moving through mud. 3 more. Here's 2. Now leave that foot up without sinking in the body. Squeeze your inner thighs to lift that leg and lower. If you're feeling your low back, bring that foot a little in front, towards the front edge of the mat. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lower both feet. Now make that top leg heavy on the bottom leg and lift for 10, 9, 8, 7. Try to make this as much obliques as you can. 3, 2, 1. Now, we're going to roll onto our backs. We're going to do double leg stretch here. We're just going to roll over to the other side to do the legs the other way, but I'm going to flip around to face the camera for you guys. If you choose to do that, that is 100% your choice. One-legged tabletop, other-legged tabletop. Inhale, exhale, curl up, reach for the ankles. If you can pull your knees in tighter without tucking your tailbone, please feel free to do that, but make sure your tailbone is really heavy, your whole sacrum is really heavy on the floor now. Inhale, exhale, extend your arms, extend your legs. If you can get your biceps to your ears, that's great. Circle your arms to a T and pull. If this is too much on your quads and hip flexors, remember the hundreds, we went to the diamond. Totally acceptable. But press out and parallel hook. Turn it out to a diamond, really squeeze the heels, bring it back to parallel and pull in. Same thing, if you're going to extend your legs, press out and parallel, turn out to Pilates feet, come back to parallel and pull in. Whichever way you choose. And maybe if you're having shoulder issues, you just bring your hands up out of your sternum 12 rib down to a T and pull. These are all totally acceptable modifications. One more. Rest your head against shoulders, rest your feet, and roll over to the right side. Again, like we discussed earlier, I'm just going to spin around because it gets kind of awkward to just see my backside. So if you're having, if you don't like being on your forearm, go ahead and circle your arm around, pat yourself on the back, rest your head in the crook of your elbow. Otherwise, bring that elbow underneath the shoulder, squeeze up, extending long, long, long. Turn out to Pilates feet. Use your hand in front of you for some support, and lift and lower leg for 10, and 9, 8. Lift up out of your side. We have 5 more. And squeeze, and squeeze, and 2, and 1, and now pull, turn out the toe, bring the knee to the ceiling. Show the inside of your knee to the screen and extend and flex and squeeze it down. Now point and pull. Extend and flex and squeeze. Point and pull. And flex and squeeze. Here's 4. Lift, lift, lift. Now leave your foot flexed and flex the lift and point. Ooh, I needed something weird there. Point and then extend and flex the lift and point. And tab. Squeeze the glutes on the bottom side. Oh, sideline legs on the second leg really stink. One more. You can tell I haven't been doing enough mat lately. Turn your feet to parallel and flex them. Lift up out of your side. Bring that foot up to hip height. Bring it forward and back. Squeeze it. When your feet pass over the top of each other, squeeze the glute so that you're not arching in your back. Now forward and squeeze, 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 squeeze. And forward and squeeze. Don't forget to breathe. Halfway there. Here's 5, 4, 3. Try not to squeeze your hand in a fist like I did. 2, and 1. Bring that foot hip height over there and squeeze it down and pull it apart for 10. Squeeze and pull. Squeeze and pull. Squeeze and pull. Ooh, I'm really feeling it on the outer glutes here today. Squeeze and pull. Squeeze and pull. We have 3 more. Squeeze and pull. Squeeze and pull. 1 more. Leave that leg there. Now squeeze the inner thigh and meet up 1. Squeeze 2. Lift up out of that side. You don't want to really be sinking on these, but your legs shouldn't be so high that you can't necessarily meet it, right? 9, 10. Now rest that top leg on the bottom leg. Never felt so good, right? Lift up out of that side closest to mat. Squeeze under the arm. Use that bottom leg to lift the top leg and lower. Make that top leg heavy. Bring your feet a little bit in front of you if you need a little bit of relief out of that low back. Halfway there now. Now here's 5. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Now roll onto your back. I'm going to switch this way since this is what we'll all be facing if I had just rolled the opposite direction. One leg to tabletop, other leg to tabletop. Extend the legs to the ceiling. Interlace the fingers to the base of the skull behind the head. Thumbs long down your neck. Elbows up in your periphery. Inhale, exhale, curl up. Now flex your feet and lower. Point your feet and lift. You'll feel your back imprint as you're here. That's perfectly fine. Don't allow your back to arch. I am working in parallel right now. 1 more in parallel, and then we're going to turn it out to Pilates feet. Now turn it out to Pilates feet and flex to lower, and point to lift, and flex to lower. It's easier for me to find a glute connection in Pilates V when I do this exercise. Here's 4, and lower, and lift. Don't drop your head, bend the knees. Hold on gently to the outside of the thigh, sit up. Feet on the floor, we're not staying here long. Fingertips pointing forward to the outside of the hips. Pull your hands back so your fingertips are behind the glutes. Rest down on your forearms. Lift up, they don't sink here. Lift up. Now 1 leg to tabletop, other leg to tabletop. Find the position that allows your sacrum to be flat. Now, without letting your weight on your forearms become light, rock your legs to the left, allowing the right hip to float up an inch and pull that hip back down to your obliques. Now, rock to the right, letting your left hip become light and pull it back down to your obliques. Guys, my forearms are not becoming light as I do this exercise. So if you feel your forearms becoming light, it's because your body can't support the load just yet. It needs a little bit longer or a couple more reps. Now extend both legs and bend them to become strong enough to support that. No problem. Don't extend past that because you could hurt yourself, right? Now to the left and extend and pull and center. To the right, extend and pull. Let's add on. To the left, extend. Top leg bends, bottom leg bends, both leg tabletop, center. To the right, extend, and the top of leg, and the bottom leg, and tabletop. And to the left, and you can, tabletop. To the right, one more time, extend, and you can, tabletop. Now come back to the center. Go ahead and lay down flat. We're gonna turn over, we're gonna do some back extension exercises. So some back articulation exercises. We're going to start with modified swan. We're going to do a modified swan dive. And then if you so choose to, we're going to do a full swan dive. So I'm going to begin with my forehead on the mat, squeezing my inner thighs together, drawing my belly button up towards my spine, wrapping my ribs. I'm going to scooch down a little bit because my uprights are there because I have the modified reformer mat. I'm squeezing my biceps into my ribs. My hands are underneath my shoulders. And from there, I'm going to inhale. The top of my head is an imaginary vertebra. And I'm extending. I'm not looking up at the ceiling, guys, right? Because that's not allowing my spine to follow in a continuous curve. And lower. And lift. We're just going to do 3 of these. We're going to do 3 of everything. Otherwise, it starts to be a little bit much for back work, right? Now, from here, I'm going to squeeze my glutes and my hamstrings and let my legs be light as I lower down. And I press up and my legs lower as my back lifts. And I lower my legs lift as my head lowers. Here's 3. Now I'm going to press up. Now if I so choose to, I'm going to bring my arms into the hug a moon position over my head and lift. And lift. And lift. Now can you stay up as you lower your hands down to the original swan position. If at any time you were doing these exercises and you felt uncomfortable doing them, please visit the exercise before. The modified swan to the modified swan dive to the swan dive. Now, we're going to stay right here for a second. Extend your arms over your head if you're capable with your shoulders. Make your legs light and begin to swim. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just swimming our legs. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, can you float your upper body up, biceps by your ears, and begin swimming? Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Swimming upper body, swimming lower body. One more, and then we're going to do in child's pose. Stop there, and lower. Now press back into a child's pose. Let's stay here for just a few breaths. Now, take the left arm and thread it underneath the right arm and the right knee, and you can rotate your body to look underneath that arm. Now bring that hand back, place it back over your head. Bring the right arm down and thread it between the left arm and the left knee, looking out underneath that left arm. Bring the arm back through, over your head. Now articulate out, head comes up last to sitting up tall. Let's do mermaid. I'm going to do it to the left side first because I flopped onto my hip, and this is the one that I flopped onto it for. So I'm in a more traditional mermaid seated position with my knees bent and my heels pulled in. If this does not work for you, you can sit crisscross applesauce, or you can sit diamond. You can place something underneath your tailbones or your sits bones so that you have a little bit of a lift and it's more comfortable if you have tight hamstrings or a tight low back. Either way is completely acceptable. We're going to reach our arms out to a T, a little bit more weight in our pinky blade edges, of course, right? I'm going to float and place my left hand on the mat in line with my knees. And then I'm going to bend the elbow down and I'm going to reach over for where the wall and the ceiling meet. I'm going to straighten my arms up, use my obliques to pull myself up and rotate in the opposite direction. My right hand comes down, palms flipped up to press down so I can get more of a lift out of my spine this direction. Arms to the T, hand by the knee. Squeeze under the arm and lift. Now, back to a T and reach the opposite direction. T and lower and reach and lift and reach over. Now, reach your hands down to your sides of your hips, bring your legs forward and float them around, swing them around, just sort of a fun thing, hip to hip, just a fun little thing. Again, I am in traditional mermaid, but crisscross applesauce, diamond, butterfly. Try to do more of a diamond position so you're not so crunched and can sit up a little straighter. That's great. I'm gonna reach my arms up to a T. You can keep blade edge a little heavier. Float my right hand down, lined up with my knee. I'm gonna bend my elbow towards my body as I squeeze under the arm. I'm gonna reach up for the wall on the ceiling, meet out of both sides. I'll pull with my obliques and straighten my arm. My left hand comes up, palm up. And out to a T. And lower and reach. And lift. And arm up. Guys, we have one more here, and then we have some forward fold work. And come back up. I'm going to come to the side of my mat for this. I'm going to work facing the end of my mat. So, for me personally, my right side is closest to my mat. I am in a Pilates V position from here. I'm going to reach my arms up on the inhale. I'm going to lift my sternum, 12th rib necklace, collarbone area to where the wall and the ceiling meet for a tiny little back extension. I'm going to pull it back up, squeeze my glutes as I do almost a washerwoman on the chair, and I dive down, 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 down. Place my hands on the floor. I'm going to walk forward with my hands 4 times total. So right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. I am pressed out in a forced arch position on my toes. From there, I'm going to flex both feet and a leg pull front and press it forward and pull forward by squeezing under my arms. And back to flex, getting a nice calf stretch there, right? Pull it forward. One more. Now I'm going to walk back with 4 hand walks total. So left hand, right hand, right hand, feet flat on the mat. Squeeze my glutes as I stand up. Raise my arms up. Lift that necklace. Open my arms. Come back to a neutral standing position. We have 2 more with different front exercises at the bottom. The next one is going to be single leg pull front. Inhale, slight chest lift. Exhale, squeeze the glutes. Washerwoman over, 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 over. 4 hand walks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm walked out, I'm on my toes. I'm going to lift my left foot up. I'm going to flex both feet, point both feet, replace the foot, right foot, flex, point, replace, left foot, flex, point, replace, right foot, flex, point, put it down, left, and right. Now, I'm going to walk back, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to lift it up and open to the side. One more, guys. We're going to toss cat-cow in at the bottom. And lift. A slight back extension and lower. Now, I'm going to walk out 4 times, but I'm going to have to adjust for the quadruped position at the bottom. So I'll walk out 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop my knees. Adjust and find the quadruped position. So my hips are over my knees and my elbows are over, and my shoulders are over my wrists, not my elbows. I'm going to rotate my elbows so the inner aspect of my elbows facing forward. I'm going to begin the articulation of my head first like a swan and allow the articulation to follow down my spine until it comes to my tailbone last, and I'm in cow. Now I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to begin with my tail and begin the articulation. Head will drop last for cat as I look at my thighs. My head will begin the articulation It'll travel down my spine all the way to my tail. My tail will begin first, and the articulation will travel up my spine and my head will go last. One more time for cat and cow. Well, cow and then cat. Head will go first, travel down my spine to my tail. And now my tail and up to my head. Find neutral. Tuck your toes. Lift up and walk back in a pike. You lift up into a pike, you're going back straight. 4, lift up. Chest lift. Neutral and down. Take one more deep breath. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today for class. If you have any questions or need any modifications, please feel free to reach out, and I hope that you have a great day. Thank you.